Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are bringing you our Stage 1 playoff preview. But first, we have some news and a couple other things we want to touch on. First off, thanks to everybody that joined us in our first official Sunday night back cap. We also would like to retract everything we said about the playoffs because we were assuming that they had heads on their shoulders and were using the map pool with the ties and everything to seed everything. And we jumped the gun and we got it. We didn't get the middle ones right, but we got the Seoul, New York one right. Anyway, but it was fun.
I think we got Boston, Vancouver right too, didn't we?
Yeah, that was already set, I think.
Yeah, that one was already set. Even before anybody else played.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a mess. The way that everything was handled with that was just really weird. Nanzer has come out and said that he's going to make sure that something is established, but the fact that there wasn't anything established to break these ties going into this stage is just a little curious, and I don't understand what happened that they didn't see this coming.
Yeah, and if you guys follow social media, I kind of lost my mind. We follow traditional sports.
Right.
There are set guidelines. There is someone... I don't understand how all you have... And I'm going to say this. You have 9 million fucking nerds, and no one can figure out that... What if someone ends up 4-3 and they have the same map differential? What are we going to do?
Mm-hmm.
No one fucking said that?
No. Apparently not.
And then... Well, you could play a match, or you don't have to play a match, or you can flip a coin, and it was just... It's stupid.
Yeah.
And I get... some of the angles. I get... Actually, Monte Cristo on Thorin's Overwatch show.
Yeah.
Watch that, guys, by the way. It's fascinating.
It's really good.
Because fucking Thorin is old like me, and he's kind of curmudgeon-y like me to an extent. He brings up references nobody fucking gets to. It's awesome. And he's been around esports forever. But he was like... You didn't know how to fucking run a tournament? I mean, they've been doing tournaments since, the dawn of time.
Right. Yeah, so it was a mess. They gave them two options. And then they didn't want to play them. And the way that Monte Cristo put it, or they didn't want to show the matches. So the way that Monte Cristo put it was, what was it? At the end of the football season, you don't want somebody to throw so they...
Get a better seed.
So they get a better seed.
Or a worse seed.
So they don't have to play a scarier team.
Right.
So they were trying to avoid where, no one wants to play San Francisco, for instance. So, you have San Francisco play Philadelphia, and you don't want that outcome to happen. And then it's okay, whoever loses plays the better, or the worst, somewhat worse team, so you don't want them to throw in order to get the worst seed to play the worst team. Right,
because in case you guys don't watch football, they reshuffle the times around on the last week, so all the games that kind of playoff matter, they're all at the same time. So what he was suggesting was that if you're going to do this, because this was beforehand, if they were going to play matches, both of them had to be at the same time. So if you got to that Toronto-Philly situation... They knew the winner would have to play San Francisco, and they would both be throwing like motherfuckers.
Right.
To not play them to advance. Because it's worth money.
Right,
and you want to play the easier team. I mean,
there's a total of $500,000 on the line for these stage playoffs. So, just getting to the semifinals gets you money. So, you want to be able to have that chance.
Right. So... Regardless of all the bullshit and all that stuff that's happened, everything's settled now. We have the schedule, and de facto Defiant fan right now, I'm a little scared. But.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know what's the worst scenario. The initial scenario where we thought that Atlanta and Toronto were going to play each other, or now Toronto has to play San Francisco and Atlanta has to play Philly. I don't know what's worse, honestly.
I think, Atlanta Philly provides a rematch.
Yeah.
So that they at least know how each other play, and they can kind of go back and see what they did wrong and all that kind of stuff. And that was a good match to begin with, so that's going to be fantastic anyway.
It really was. Yeah.
And the first day, who knows what's going to happen? It could be 2 blowouts. But I think Seoul can put up a fight, really, after watching them last week.
Yeah, if they show up and play like that, I think they could really give New York some headaches. I still am going to pick New York. Yeah.
That's a tall order.
Pretty much our picks still to get to the stage finals is New York and Vancouver.
Yeah.
But like going through, I can't see Seoul beating New York. I think they could take a map or two.
Yeah.
But I don't see too much more than that. As far as Boston and Vancouver, Boston will be lucky to get a map.
Yeah. Before we dive, though, deep into the matches, because we're going to go over all the matches, we just wanted to give you guys some news about our channel and about what we're doing.
About what we're doing as a team.
So we started a Patreon page. We figured it was time. We wanted to start something up where we can give people that want to donate or subscribe to our channel and to what we're doing, and that enjoy what we do, because we love doing this and we want to give you guys some more. But we also want to make things better. We want to make better quality videos and that kind of thing for you guys. So we figured let's start a Patreon page so that we can get better equipment. Maybe the more things build, and we need you guys' help to build things. Spread the word, for sure. And we could go out to venues. Especially next year after the announcement with teams having big home games, actual
home games and everything. Like
maybe we can go on the road a little bit.
There's going to be games that are within driving distance of us
Toronto.
That we can go to. Toronto, mostly, depending on what other teams get added next year, if any.
Per them, they said none. But if someone dumps a big basket of money, I doubt they're going to say no.
You know what they said about this time last year? We're not sure if there's going to be any more teams coming in next year.
Yeah.
Oh, how many did you get? 8. So I don't think I would be shocked if they don't add any more teams next year, honestly.
But that being said, the link's going to be down below, guys. So if you're really into what we do and you want to help us out, come on in, join our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of subscriptions, and you're going to get different things from us, and more in the future. And we're going to do things on there where we have some stuff that you're not going to see, like on YouTube or on our stream, where we've been talking about doing different things. We want to do deep dives into some matches, and we just don't have time to do it on YouTube and stuff. So we want to put it like on there, and if you guys are subscribers, you can get our opinions like about, say, obviously other than like the playoffs. But
and there's a few different things that we have thought about what we want to do on the Patreon page as far as content that's exclusive to that. One of the things would be, just for an example, would be like going through an entire match and like breaking down just different things that we see, and like kind of putting our little spin on what we think went wrong and that kind of thing for different teams is just like an example of something that we might do.
Yeah, and also we record as soon as we start talking, so we don't necessarily dive into our recording session right away. So there's a lot of, and if you guys followed our channel last year, there was a few videos we put up where there's just like us talking about like playing in matches or football or whatever. We're going to have some of those things up there, with like kind of like outtakes. Me losing my mind or about. I could just, if you guys really want to come in and actually experience me watching a mayhem match, we can do that on there too. I don't know if you want to do that. It's somewhat a toxic environment.
But it's an entertainingly toxic environment. So hey, there's definitely people that are into that.
Yeah.
There's
if you guys watch Ragtag, I would make him blush with the amount of swearing, especially after the last match.
Oh God. Right.
But we want to do some fun things, and we want to get you guys involved a little bit more, and we want to make things better. Improve ourselves. like we always say, though, we want your input and stuff too. So, if there's any things you guys see or hear that we say, I mean, I fuck up names, so you're never going to improve that.
Right.
I fuck up people's names at work, in life, so I'm going to forget things, and I go, the guy that played for Houston last year, that, he was the fucking Sombra dude. Him. That's me. That's just how I am. I'm an idiot. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with movies. I'm like, the guy that played in fucking Triple X, the bad guy, but he was also in that movie.
Right.
Maybe I should do trivia. Try to figure out what Misfit's saying.
Yeah, right. That'd be a good one. All right. So,
but anyway,
that's our Patreon thing. If you guys are interested, head over there, check us out. Obviously, all the other things that help us, subscribe to us, give us reviews on ratings, all that good stuff across the board. Check us out on social media, all that jazz.
Yeah,
all right, so let's dive in.
Before we dive in, big move though. Arc going to Washington Justice.
Forgot about that one.
That could be interesting.
It really could be. I think it makes them
a lower mid-table team.
Yeah,
maybe?
Right. It moves them up in the power rankings a few steps, especially depending on which supports get played a lot. I do have a feeling that we might get. There's going to be a lot more circumstances where Mercy is going to be viable, and obviously Arc is one of the best Mercies in the league. So that's going to help them immensely. And
he's a good shot caller as well, which I do not think they... Obviously, watching a couple of matches, I don't know if they had one.
And if they did, they were not great. So I think that's going to help them a lot, getting Arc in there. And that's going to help Wizard Young communicate. And I agree. I would not be surprised if we see more transactions for them, especially in the bye week when there's no games going on. I think we're going to get more.
And I think it's going to be more of a Korean-focused roster. Yeah. Too. I get that vibe. And I think it's a communication thing, like all around. Like Wizard Hyung, the players that he has. Mm-hmm. And I think also Arc being... I'm assuming he's friends with Janice, and he worked with Wizard. Mm-hmm. He kind of has a working relationship with these guys. So... him and Janice...
there should already be some chemistry between them.
Well, he might be able to give him some resources so he doesn't fucking die.
Right.
Janus, the Roman god of death.
His own? Can you be the death? Can you be the god of your own death?
The Roman god of feeding.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, now let's go into the matches.
Yeah, let's dive into these. So, Thursday night, starting off, Seoul, New York. Oof. Yeah, I think this has the potential to be the better match of the night.
Oh, I think so, by far. I think Seoul can give them a match.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think it's going to be a wipe job by any stretch.
No.
Just by watching what Seoul did, I secretly root for Seoul, too. You know this.
Yeah. Believe me, I want Seoul to do well too, because I've basically been waiting a year and a half to see the team that everyone thought they were going to be, and the team that they were in Apex.
Yeah, and they kind of showed a little bit of that last week. They finally started working with Fissure, and Fissure started working. It was like a mutual kind of. I don't know what they did in that week. They kind of came to an agreement. Yeah. And I think they look good. And
they did.
The one thing, and then we said this on the stream, this match, they're giving it 2 hours. It could take 4.
Yeah. Right? This is two of the slowest moving teams that are just
they're reactionary, so they're waiting for somebody to do something. What did I say on Sunday? I'm like... fucking Fisher's going to be emoting over in the corner somewhere. Just tell me when you guys are ready to fight and I'll fucking charge in.
Right.
They're going to be... the poke phase is going to be about 2.5 hours.
Right. Oh, God. Just okay, we can't go in until everybody has their ult.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's got their ult. Let's go.
Yeah. And go. Oh, wait.
Oh, they all have their alts too. Shit! Alright, well, reset and we'll go in.
Fisher's just gonna go, fuck it, I'm shattering.
And no follow-up, and everybody's dead on Seoul.
Yeah. But all jokes aside, I think they solved some problems. And one of the things that I really think New York has trouble a little bit, and you gotta be spotty with it, is playing Sombra.
Yeah.
Because it causes chaos, and they're not good with chaos.
They are not. That is probably the one...
They're so structured.
Mm-hmm.
But they also know what you're trying to do, too. So you kind of gotta... You can't do what Dallas did last week against Boston and say, you know what, we're running Somber Goats the whole time. Because you gotta pick your maps, you gotta pick your spots, and I think they could do that. And I think it could be successful to a point. I don't think they're going to beat them. And I also think I think that Michelle is going to have a good match. The one thing that I'm afraid of, honestly, is the way New York punishes mistakes and the way they can bait Fissure into being overly aggressive. Could come to bite them in the ass. Seoul.
Yeah, for sure. And that is the major strength that New York has, is like their patience is like it's second to none. Like they are so good at waiting until the perfect time to use alts, use abilities.
Yeah.
Just any little mistake and they will just pounce on it. And I think that's one of the keys really to beating New York is to like
bring the fight to them.
Yeah, well, you almost have to
smartly
bait them into thinking that you made a mistake. Then they come out too aggressive to punish that, and then you take advantage of that. I think is really the only way. I think Seoul will be able to do that a little bit, but I don't think it'll be enough.
Yeah, and what they need is. They need Fissure not to die,
Yes. Oh, and for sure.
I think one of the things that they really is going to be key is, I always pronounce his name, Jessica on Lucio.
Yeah.
Jessica. I'm sorry.
I think it's supposed to be Jessie.
Yeah.
Jessie. Something like that.
Their Lucio player.
Jexy? Yeah. I don't know.
I think their Lucio player has gone a kind of... I think they can bait him into things with Fissure, like him faking aggression and the Lucio maybe getting, Meko or Mono out of position and taking one of those guys out. Because the hardest thing to do, you got to focus on New York. You got to get rid of the Rhine Shield with them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because Jonak is just behind there fucking killing everyone.
Right.
So you got to get some way. You got to get them into a fight where you bait them into getting the hammer swinging instead of the shield up, so you can focus on Jonak.
Right. So yeah, you gotta be able to break through the Rhine shield, and then as soon as that Rhine shield is down, you need to force out all the cooldowns that any other people are gonna have between Nene on
Nene and Libero.
Yeah, mostly. Nene and Libero, and then you have to pounce.
And
like,
if you're using
as soon as that's
Sombra,
done, you got to take out anyone you can. Especially, Sombra. Like, if you can,
I would
after
hack
all
Jonak
that,
before.
Then you hack Jonak and take him out, basically.
And normally, in this matter, you're going to hack this Zarya. I would go after Jonak first and foremost.
Oh, for sure.
Because
you take out Jonak, and that just completely
throws their
down their whole team. Yeah.
Because their plan is to hang back and let Jonak build his ult up by killing everyone.
Right.
So if you can get them
you have to hope that at that point Jonak doesn't have his ult and isn't saving the rest of his team while Sombra uses their EMP or whatever.
Yeah. But like I said, though, they're kind of like the board, they adapt.
Yeah.
So you can't use Sombra all the time. You got to kind of change it up a little bit.
Right, and you have to change your approach to get to Jonak just about every single time. Like, you can't just keep trying the same method to get to him. Like, you have to switch it up and approach from a different angle, or just aggressively use a certain alt. You can't just do the same thing over and over against them, because they're just going to punish you for that too. Because like, they don't even punish you for, like, that's the thing, is New York doesn't even punish for making mistakes. They punish you for doing the same thing over and over again too. Like, that's a mistake against them too. Like, it's not even just, like, even if it's well executed, they're still going to find the flaws in that and pick it apart. Yeah.
But if you can buy time and get them out of their game, so to speak.
Right.
You know, the main key is, for me, is to take mono out first. Like I said, with the, breaking down that Rhine shield. Because, I mean, it's so important to the way they play. Right. I mean, it's important to the GOATs in and of itself.
Oh, like, on
the whole. But them especially, with the way they play with Jonak, and, kind of that, not poke, but like him getting damage and just letting him do whatever he does to start.
Right.
It's going to be big.
And the biggest key, I think, really for them also is, like, you have to force New York to use alts when they don't want to. Exactly.
Because Jonak sometimes, he's not the best with Transcendence.
Yeah, that's probably the one weakness in his game, is, like, he is very quick to use his trance.
Yeah.
And that's like the one flaw in his game, and you have to take advantage of that as much as you can.
Yeah, and if there's a flaw in their game, that's like one of the very small ones that they have.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. You got to basically win the alt economy war. And
which is so hard, because New York is they are
so
elite.
Calculated.
Right. Like, they are elite with their, I mean, that's why they are what they are. Like, their alt economy is second to none, but you have to force them to use alts when they don't want to. That's really the only way to beat them.
Yeah, exactly.
And to do that is to just create chaos.
Yeah, they're not good with chaos. If you're going to go out and play straight up GOATs and run at them,
they're going to hammer you down every time.
Because they're going to just
literally,
they're going to wait you out, and they're going to bait out a couple alts, and then they're going to have the alt economy in their favor, and they're just going to kill you all.
Exactly. So yeah, that's really Seoul's only chance, and I just don't see it happening in that game.
Yeah, we both got New York.
It's going to be interesting to see what Seoul does. I hope they come out, and I really hope that they give New York a fight, because that's just, I think that would be the best thing for their confidence, and to just kind of like get them some much needed playoff experience in the first place. Yeah,
and show us what everyone talked about for years.
Exactly.
I mean, I've watched videos of, Lunatic High, and they were great, but I want to see it in this level.
Yes, exactly. I want to see that translated into here. All right, so let's move on to the second game of the night. We got Boston, Vancouver. Obviously, we're both taking Vancouver in this game.
Yeah.
What is the one thing that Boston, or what is something that Boston can do to even have a fighting chance in this game?
I don't. Okay. What Boston needs to do is, Fusions needs to stay alive, and the one thing I think he needs to do is win the war with Bumper. I think what they think they need to do is they need to get Bumper out of position and eliminate, and because his team's so used to him doing weird shit. I think they need to bait him out and get rid of him first, and then they might have a chance. The problem is the rest of their team is so good, and Note needs to harass Twilight.
Yes.
Because the Titans aren't going to run Sombra or anything like that. That kind of gets Boston weird.
No, they're much more just straight up running GOATs. Like, they're not really going to do all that much different from that, but it works really well for them, so they don't need to.
Right, and Boston really can't right now. They can't run anything other than that. So I don't think this match is going to be very close.
Yeah, no, I really...
If you have to run mirror goats against them, you're just going to get mashed.
It's going to be like running into a brick wall over and over again. I
think fusions can do some damage and help get things rolling, because I think he's really good. But against them, I mean, they bury teams like San Francisco, for crying out loud.
I mean, they have to basically... He has to have the game of his life to even have a chance. And even then, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Yeah,
and Blase has to be like way on point. And same thing with Color Hex and Note and Aim God, and everybody on that team needs to be like above board.
Yeah.
To win a couple of maps, not to win the match.
Right.
We're talking maps here. We're not talking the whole thing. It's for them to win the whole thing. Vancouver would have to throw, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which I don't think
they'd have to go out and just like not give a fuck at all. Which that's not going to happen.
Yeah, because if New York wins, there's no way they're going to lose. They will put them into the ground, and then if Seoul happens to win, even more incentive.
Oh God, right. Because then it's like, oh, well, this is in the bag now. Yeah.
Because they would have to go through Boston, and then when they reseed, depending on who wins, I mean, I can't figure that out now. My brain's not up for that.
Yeah, no, it's just not going to happen. There's no point in even talking about it. Like, really, it's just a matter of, like, how many maps can Boston take before their inevitable loss.
Yeah, I think they can take one though.
I think they got a shot to take one. I think they could. It might be the first map, and Vancouver will be like, "Oh, okay," and then they'll just come out and slaughter them. But like that's really the best chance that Boston has is to come out just like really hammer it home and come out swinging.
Yeah,
try and catch them off guard.
I think they can. They can't run any wacky strats because they only have 2 DPS players. I mean, maybe they can run something here and there,
right,
to kind of throw them off. Because Vancouver gets weird. But like, I'm kind of bummed that none of the Chinese teams are in. I really am, because I would have loved to see like the Charge or the Hunters in here, just to be like, you have like 3 hours to prepare for that. Like whatever the fuck that is.
Right. Exactly.
And they'll just be like, alright, you're running goats. We already know that. Fuck this. We're going to run Farah or something. I don't know.
Right. We're going to run Farah, Wrecking Ball, Torbjorn, and...
Hanzo. For the win.
Right.
We'll run Soldier. He's a healer.
We're going to run no supports.
Like back in the day, Sombra's a healer. She can hack the health packs. They're ours.
God.
Oh, that could happen again.
Yeah.
Well, if anyone's played Quick Play at all.
Oh, dear God.
Amateur Widowmaker Hour.
It's already infuriating, the amount of Sombra, Doomfist, Farah that is just...
And everyone sucks.
At killing any of them.
Cock. They're awful.
Oh, yeah. If they're on your team, they're terrible at playing those characters. If they're on the other team, they're fucking god.
I get stuck with the Widowmaker that stands there and looks down the barrel for an hour.
God, in the same place every single time.
Like I was playing last night on Ruins. I actually got on the mic in Quick Play. I usually don't. Mm-hmm. And I said to the Widow, "Are you going to shoot?" I mean, I was playing Wrecking Ball. I was having fun. I'm like... Because every time I'd look up, the Widowmaker was just standing there. With the
like, you're not even seeing white lines go across the freaking map. You're like, what are you doing, dude?
And the other team had the Widowmaker that was just shooting at everything. I'm getting shot. I'm getting hit by a Widowmaker, and I'm getting like 20... And she's not even letting the fucking scope charge. What the fuck? Okay.
Right.
So I just go up to the ledge and do the fucking pile driver. And then it would be like, oh, God, you woke me up.
Like, oh, and then they just spray bullets everywhere and they're dead.
Anyway, enough of that. Wrecking Ball's going to be fun in this meta. Thanks, Almang, for inspiring me.
Right. All right, so let's move on to
Friday.
the Friday matches.
These are, on paper, the better matches.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like these ones both could go either way.
Yeah.
Or have a higher chance of going either way.
Yeah. Atlanta and Philly played each other once too, so we have that.
This one is probably, of all of the matches that we're going to get in the first round, this is the closest we get to a coin flip.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Because both teams, they're like mirror images of each other. You don't know what you're going to get one week to the next.
Right.
Like, Atlanta is actually Philly from last year.
They really are.
Like, okay, you buried these two teams and you lost to these two teams. How does that happen?
What? How the hell? What did you guys do? And you look like gods in this game, like just completely dominant. And then in the other game, you just couldn't get anything together. It's real weird. And I mean, Philly, we've kind of seen a little bit of that from Philly this year too. Yeah. Obviously, when Boombox is there, they're a ton better, so that makes a big difference for them. So he's going to be there as well in this game.
And what needs to happen in this game for Philly is their tanks need to outplay Atlanta's tanks more than anything.
For sure.
By tanks, I mean they're Poco and Sato.
Yeah.
Need to outplay Pokpo and oh my god.
Oh god, this is going to be rough. We got Poco versus Pokpo. And then
Sato and Dako.
Oh. Jesus.
Fucking kill me. But they need to neutralize them because Defran doesn't worry me as much playing Zarya.
Right. Well, I mean, it's Defran versus Carpe, and honestly, the biggest thing for Atlanta is they need to change up their aggressiveness. They can't be as over-aggressive as they were against Philly because Philly called them out for it.
Yeah. And Defran gets too flanky.
Exactly. They took advantage of that, and they were just picking him off, and as soon as he went down, then it's 5v6, and Philly would just roll with it.
Yeah, and they're relying a lot on Pokpo starting the fights off, and then Defran cleaning them up. And Masa coming in with a big boop here and there, and Dako peeling and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not saying they're playing bad, but I'm just saying that Defran's like the cleanup guy, which is fine, and he's getting better with the bubble management.
Yes,
because he has a lot of final blows.
He's using it a lot better to save his teammates and like not just to build up charge.
Yeah. He's getting better and better with that. For Philly, they need to punish Pokpo first. I keep saying that. Get rid of the Rhine.
For sure.
One thing they need to watch, too, is Masa. Because Masa's a sneaky fucker on that Lucio. And
he really is.
I would just keep an eye on him, because he's so good with those boops into, like, big grabs and shatters and environmental stuff. He's just a nightmare if you're playing against him.
Yeah.
But Neptuno's just as good. Maybe not quite on Masa's level with some of the extra stuff, but Neptuno's good as well. It's just Philly they have to get rid of Pokpo. I think that screws Atlanta up more than they want to admit.
Yeah.
Because if you watch some of that Chengdu match that they lost, they absolutely mashed on Pokpo and Dako. Because I think that throws Defran off on the Zarya, because you're going to be bubbling Pokpo, and the way he flanks and tries to build energy, if he's off by himself, and they're just going to kill him, because they're not going to have a main tank, and you can bait him into bad ult management too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really the key, is like, it's almost the exact same scenario for each team of what they have to do to disrupt the other team. Like, you got to take out their main tank, and you got to disrupt their ult.
Well, Sato's not too hard to take out. Right,
and that's the biggest thing. And I think Atlanta will do their damnedest to make that happen. And that's why I am kind of leaning a little more towards Atlanta, because I think they have the advantage at main tank.
Yeah.
And then I think they have a slight advantage with their supports in Lucio. Mostly just Lucio. I think Philly has the advantage with the Zen.
Boombox, yeah.
With Boombox, but I think I do think that Masa is a little bit better. It's just slightly better than Neptuno at just creating those opportunities.
Yeah.
And to
honestly,
pounce.
Carpe and Defran are like the polar opposites of how to play Zarya.
Yeah, they really are. But
so,
they kind of
pick your poison. They work with their team the way their team wants to work.
Exactly, but they kind of like offset each other in that sense.
And it's just, I think for Philly, if they can catch Defran out of position, maybe make him blow a couple ults and get rid of Pokepo. Mm-hmm. I said it without calling him Poco. I'm proud of myself right now. I think that because Philly's used to being in fights without a main tank. Let's just be honest.
They really are. Actually, I think probably for Atlanta, the better opportunity would be to mitigate what Poco is doing to them.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say get rid of Carpe first. Mm-hmm. Your first target. I mean, they're going to run some weird stuff too, depending on what, because they have the map choice thing to start, and then if you lose them, I believe that's what they're doing this because they don't have a map pool for each match. So I believe you get to pick the higher seed gets to pick the map in the first match.
Yeah, and then the loser of the first match gets to, or maybe it's the lower seed picks all the maps. I don't remember exactly.
The loser gets to pick the next map.
Okay. That's what it is then.
Yeah. I believe that's how it works.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, that's really the keys for both of these teams.
I'm still undecided, honestly. And
I'm leaning ever towards Atlanta, and I think that's probably just bias in my head.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to pick Atlanta to win this.
You see, now I'm kind of leaning the other way. But then I'm like, oh man, Atlanta's good too. I'm like, guys, I'll have a decision somewhere.
With the other choice, like Philly's got experience in this type of situation, and I mean, look at the runs that they made last year. So, like, they are definitely not
They're down for this. I mean, you know what I mean? This is like their kind of thing.
Right, absolutely.
I think this could be Atlanta's kind of thing too, because we said, I mean, they're kind of similar in the way they approach things. Mm-hmm. I don't know who I'm going to pick. Guys, I'll throw something on social media by Friday. I'm undecided. We know I'm going to pick in the next match, so we don't even have to say who I'm picking.
Right.
But.
So, yeah, last match of the night, or last match of the, not even the semis, I guess it would be the quarterfinals.
Yeah, first round, whatever
yeah, first round, quarterfinals, whatever you want to call it. We have San Francisco, Toronto.
This is going to be a good one, too.
This is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
I think this one goes the distance.
And this is one of those, like, the literal unstoppable force, immovable object kind of fucking matches right here.
It really is.
Oh, man, it's going to be good. It's good, like, two different styles. It's, like, super aggressive and controlled. What the fuck was that? A controlled, defensive, aggressive kind of defiant team with San Francisco, with them going out and just wanting to rip your face off, like initially, like just the hyper aggression with like Sinatra and Violet, and this match is more even than people want to give it credit for.
It really is.
I'm a Toronto apologist, so bear in mind that. But Toronto has the edge at main tank.
Yeah.
I think Choi Hyobin is a little bit underrated in this meta.
I do too, but I'm going to give it more to Envy.
Yeah. Sombra as well.
Envy's just so damn good.
His Sombra
he's so versatile. Yeah, right.
Scary.
Exactly. Like, he's just so damn good at Sombra. Like, and then you look at, I mean, where they're really scary. I mean, when you look at San Francisco, you're like, okay, you have probably the number 2 Zarya in the league in Sinatra.
Yeah.
And then Toronto, you have number 3 with Ivy.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
It
Like,
gets
that's
scary.
going to be so fun to watch.
I mean, the only meh on both teams is the Lucio play.
Yeah.
Really, if you think about it.
Yeah, so you got Moth with San Francisco and Rocky on Toronto.
And I would give the edge to Moth a little bit.
Yeah, I would too.
But
I think that's probably the biggest weakness that Toronto has, because, I mean, even looking at the Zenyatas, you have Neko going against Violet. Like, how? Like, holy shit, that is just ridiculous.
Yeah, this has
the two Zenyatas that these teams have.
You could see some high level fucking Zenyatta play in this one for sure, man.
Right. My God.
I'm taking Toronto, obviously, but for Toronto to win, I think their biggest thing might be, and I'm going to go into a Sombra Goats with Toronto, with Ivy. I know he's great on Zarya, but to neutralize Sinatra and, just keep hacking on him, keeping him away from getting the energy charge and bubbles and getting to that grav.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be huge because they're so good on the follow-up, San Francisco.
Yeah.
That keeping Sinatra in check is going to be the key.
Oh, absolutely. That is 100% the key to stopping San Francisco, is just making sure that you minimize what Sinatra is doing to you.
Basically, the biggest player for Toronto in this match is Envy.
Yeah.
Because he
is the heart and soul of this team. He's the captain. He's their shot caller. Like, everything revolves around Envy for this team, and he is such an instrumental part that if he's having an off game or they can get to him, then San Francisco is going to win. But if Toronto rallies around him and stays the way that they've been, they have a really good shot at taking this game.
I think so too. And also back to Envy, and one of his tasks, if they're not running Sombra Goats, is going to be on that Diva absolutely harassing the shit out of Violet. Because if you let that guy have free reign like Jonak, not quite on Jonak's level, but if you let him frag, he's going to kill you. And he's going to kill all of you.
Yeah. And also, on top of that, he's gonna be tasked with making sure he eats every single grab that he can from Sinatra.
Yeah, I mean, so Sombra Goats is big for them, I think, in this, but he needs to play Diva as well. You just got to pick your spots, pick your maps.
Yeah, and just really work on those to keep them on their toes to when they're not going to know whether they're running the Diva or running the Sombra. Like, they gotta be on top of that as best as they possibly can. And
much like we were saying with like for San Francisco, they have to watch Ivy.
Yeah,
and Envy's going to be fucking aggressive as hell. I mean, we all know that. But Ivy, if you let him do what he's done in some of these matches, he's just going to absolutely murder everyone. And he does not fuck up grab too many times. I mean,
he really doesn't.
They get eaten once in a while, but he has great timing. Him and Envy are like, not that honestly the Diva Bomb doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah,
that's like kind of a gone thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's occasions where you can get picks with it, but it's more like zoning out and that kind of thing.
Or actually sending it in late. Watching for the trance.
Yeah.
And timing it through the trance to get it in where you might be able to pick up a support or the Zarya or something like that, or playing back. Because you rarely get anyone in the grab anymore, because there's like 9 support ults that either sound barrier or something else that's negating the Diva Bomb.
Exactly.
But yeah, this is going to be I'm picking Toronto, but it's more not with my brain, I guess. I don't know. It's closer than people want it to be, I think.
It really is.
Because Toronto, nobody wants Toronto. Basically, they don't think about Toronto as like San Francisco's going to win, like they did through the whole first stage. I'm totally in on Toronto, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm kind of there with you. I'm still leaning towards San Francisco taking it at the very end, and I think it's going to be such a narrow margin. But that, I think, in turn, is going to be good for Toronto because it's going to make them even hungrier.
Yeah.
But I honestly will not be surprised by either outcome.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be rooting for Toronto.
Oh,
but,
same.
I mean, San Francisco's great.
Yeah.
They're way better at the GOATS meta thing than I thought they were going to be. I'm just a fan of Toronto, I guess, at this point.
Right.
Sinatra scares the shit out of me on Zarya. He really does.
Yeah.
If they don't keep him in check, they're done.
Oh, for sure. There's nothing they could do.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for our stage playoff preview. Thanks a lot for joining us. All of you guys on YouTube, thanks a lot for being with us for the long haul and all that. Please hit a like, hit a subscribe if you're new. All you guys on the various podcasts, whether it's Spotify, whatever your podcatcher is picking up, like iTunes or SoundCloud or anything like that. Thanks a lot. Rate us. And as always, hit us in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. Let's, see who you guys got in these playoff games. I know half of you guys are going to tell me to vote for the Reign. The other half are going to tell me to vote for the Fusion. But I might just watch the match and enjoy it. I very rarely do I do that because I'm a gambler, or I was until I got married. And she found my money stash. Anyway, that's a long story for another day. Anyway, thanks a lot. Also, don't forget, if you guys want to, we have the Patreon page. We're going to have some, different things on there. We might even have like a little football chatter on there. Just different things that we're going to do. All the donations and subscriptions we're going to use to improve our channel, our equipment, all kinds of other stuff. To make a better experience for you guys, and maybe someday get a bigger experience for you guys, where we're doing where we can
maybe go to a play or go to a game and interview some people. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities of what we could do,
and meet all you guys.
Get absolutely. All you guys do some kind of meetup somewhere for sure would be amazing.
We got to figure that out in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Any of you OWL fans in Cleveland, get a hold of us. Let's try and figure out a place. Maybe we can get somewhere on the west side, or where we can all get together and watch matches. We don't have a team, but that doesn't matter.
We're just there to watch and enjoy the game.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, if there's enough of us there, we can get a Cleveland team.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, we got some money in town now. We got ODB.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe you can call up LeBron. How's things working out in LA?
You want to buy and invest in a esports team?
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Maybe JR is pretty high. Can we get him really stoned and, hey JR, Overwatch, man. All right, I'm in.
Take your career earnings, put it all in there.
I don't have any. I got suspended so many times, I don't know. Anyway, okay, that was a weird sidetrack. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Enjoy the matches on Thursday. We'll be on at some point in Discord. The link's down below. Come in and join us. And we will talk to you later.
Yep. Catch you guys on the next one. Later.